What's your take on McCarthyism?
McCarthyism was nothing but a scare tactic. It was a very irrelevant congressman trying to make himself relevant. And what came out of that was, in trying to make himself relevant, he damaged a lot of people's reputations. He ruined a lot of careers, particularly people in Hollywood. And it just goes to show how paranoid a nation we were in a legitimate scare that we had. The Cold War was legitimate. The Red Scare was maybe in some cases legitimate, but most of the time it was a witch hunt, and people were just, without much evidence at all, blacklisted. So, it is a bad thing just to stereotype, and that was the first example of that probably in our nation's history.
Thank you.
All right.
So what is your take on McCarthyism?
I think it's both good and bad.
So why?
Well, it's good that the government is on top of, who they think is spying for the Soviets and making sure everybody's safe at home, but they also ruined a lot of lives in the process because it took them longer to figure out whether people were or weren't communist before they actually set them free. But even if they did set them free, then there were March Forever to communists, and they're like, especially if they were a businessman, they were kind of blackballed at that point.
I think that this junior senator from Wisconsin wanted to be somebody, and he did it at the expense of a lot of innocent people whose lives were ruined in their careers.
But don't you think it's a good idea that the government is on top of things and doing their job and making sure that people are safe?
Certainly, but we have to have some foundation. They lack that, and it was pretty obvious. All right.
Too many people are walking by.
All right, that's it.
What are your opinions on McCarthyism?
My opinion is that it's our government's job to protect its citizens. I think if they're looking at people coming from outside of the country, they should be vetting those people to make sure they are safe and not going to threaten our country. However, if they're already here, living here, and they've been here a long time, I don't think they should throw them out.
I agree. Your opinion on McCarthyism?
Wow. I think it probably all started out with a pretty good idea of, hey, we need to vet people that are in our country and make sure they're not going to do bad things that hurt us and hurt our people. But then, just like a lot of things, it starts out good. Man, they turn it into some bad stuff. They start ruining people's lives. They accuse people of stuff that they really didn't have anything to do with. They accuse them of being communists and terrorists, and it ruined their lives just because they simply couldn't argue it. And so you just got to be careful.
So what's your viewpoint on McCarthyism?
All right, so McCarthyism happened a long time ago. You should know that because you've been studying it. And basically nowadays, just like it did in the past, it stirs up a lot of unnecessary fear. It tosses up potentially false red flags, and then a lot of unfair allegations. However, another side to it is that it gets people's attention.
Hey, Miss Cormier, I was wondering what your take on McCarthyism was.
I think that McCarthyism shows the paranoia and the fear that we have going on right now, and that Senator Joseph McCarthy needs to calm down a little bit. And Lucille Ball's not a communist.
Okay. What's your take on McCarthyism?
McCarthyism. All right. Well, I had to look it up a little bit because it's been a while since I've had history class. But it looked like McCarthy was afraid that our democracy was going to be destroyed from within by communism. So I don't agree with his tactics. I don't agree with how he went about trying to get the communists out. I do agree with him trying to protect America and Americans. However, his tactics were more like a witch hunt, and it made friends and colleagues turn on each other to keep from getting in trouble. So like I said, I don't agree with his tactics. Did he keep the communists out of the government? No. I believe that they still found their way in. They're from Russia. I think they had spies that kind of got into our government in different places. But again, like I said, I don't agree with his tactics, but I do agree with him trying to keep America safe.
What is your take on McCarthyism?
All right, so McCarthyism was when Senator Joseph McCarthy, right, was blaming people or saying without much investigation, just, hey, you're a communist, right? Because during the time we were staunchly against communism and the spread of communism because Russia was our enemy, and we wanted to keep them from taking their communist ideas, planting them in Cuba, coming up through Florida, and then getting into the United States. So, my take on that is, without investigating people or vetting them, however you want to word it, you have to look into it first. You can't just accuse, right? Because accusing people just makes no sense. It ruined people's lives. It ruined a lot of Hollywood's lives. A lot of people in Hollywood didn't work anymore after that because they were blacklisted, right? Meaning that you couldn't get hired, you couldn't get a job, you couldn't do that. And so one of the things that we should take from that, coming forward is, right, in today's environment is what's going on now, right? They're just saying, hey, you're Muslim, or hey, you're a radical, or you're an extremist, or you're even a Christian radical. There's all kinds of labels that people just kind of throw out there without actually getting into the facts. So it's something that we should look at how it was done, and kind of not repeat that mistake again, like a lot of things we've done in our country in the past. And like there's an argument, they said, y'all were talking earlier, there's an argument for, hey, at least the country was doing something. Doing something, but you got to do it the right way, right? Like, I'm all about doing something. Yeah, let's do something, but let's not stomp on people's rights while we're doing it.
Thank you on McCarthyism.
Well, I'm really old, so I kind of remember some things about that probably happening when I was a little girl. But my take on McCarthyism is that I think McCarthy was a little crazy. I think that they were reacting out of fear. They were real fearful of communists, and I know being a little child doing that, it was real scary. And so they used a lot of these fear tactics, and that's what McCarthy did. Just rounded everybody up or put them on a blacklist if they were even suspected of being communist, and that's not really right, not very American. So I don't think it's a good thing to do. Thank you.